there was a Joe Musgrove update this week during this Dodgers series as well. And Joe Musgrove, he wants to pitch for the Padres again in 2023. One more appearance. It seems like he wants to have one inning at the big league level. And I'll read this quote that he gave to Kevin Acee of the San Diego Union Tribune. And I definitely understand his thinking behind this. But it still doesn't make sense to me. If I put myself in Joe Musgrove's spot as a player, it'll make a little bit more sense. But sitting here as a Padres fan that really wants Joe Musgrove to be healthy and have a great season in 2024, I don't understand what the point in him coming and trying to come back to pitch one inning at the big league level in a big league ball game against the Chicago White Sox in the second to last game of the season or something like that. Musgrove says this quote, "I'm obviously very cautious. If anything pops up that doesn't feel right, I'm going to slow it down and probably eliminate that opportunity." So, okay, I like that. Cautious. I would love to get back and have one more chance, whether it's an opening role or one inning of relief. I know it's like the risk reward is a big question, but I feel healthy and I'm very cautious of where I'm at. I'm aware of the same things that they're worried about me pushing too much and affecting next year. So I'm in the mindset of taking it day to day still and following the program as it says with the ultimate end goal of things being perfect and getting one more appearance. So things would have to be perfect for Joe to come back. And maybe they will be perfect, but the perfect thing there is the Padres winning like 15 games in a row and somehow they're in it. And it's like, yeah, Joe, you could pitch a meaningful inning for the Padres here. That's like a perfect situation. It's not, in my mind, the perfect situation is not, oh, Joe just feels great and there's no setback at all. And he goes and pitches an inning to build that confidence back, mentally going into the offseason and going into 2024. Like, hey, I came back from it. My shoulder's fine. And again, from the player perspective, I understand it a little bit more. I still don't think it's the right thing to be doing. I think you should shut it down to have a strong offseason and be ready for 2024, like Manny Machado and like the Padres are doing with Yu Darvish. But I get that a little bit more from the player perspective. But as a fan, it's like, what's the point of doing that? Pitching one inning in a meaningless game. And what happens? Fans, right? We think negatively for anything like this. Joe Musgrove, he's on the mound, let's say, October 1st or September 28th or whatever. One of the last games of the year. He makes it back. Everything's perfect health-wise. And he's on the mound. And the third pitch that he throws, he feels shoulder pain and has to exit the game. How are Padres fans going to feel? How's Joe going to feel? How's Bob Melvin going to feel? How's the training staff going to feel? How's A.J. Preller going to feel? How's Peter Seidler going to feel that paid $100 million to this guy? Right? Like, is it worth it to come back for one inning, one inning as an opener, as a reliever? Is it worth it when your team is not in it? And for me, the answer to that is no. I love Joe Musgrove and Manny Machado wanting to be there for their team and being on the field, wanting to compete. I love that. Jake Cronenworth, you could say the same thing about him. Obviously, he's not coming back just because that was like a totally different thing, right? Totally fractured wrist, and you're not coming back from that. I get it. But I love the competitiveness, right? And Juan Soto wants to play every single game this year, and I respect it, right? Because you're getting paid a lot of money, and if we were in your spot, we probably would want to be playing every day, and we wouldn't want to let the fans down who come to watch you. I get it. I respect it. But again, I go back to, it's kind of like the Manny thing. He's here for another decade. Musgrove's here for another 4 years after this year. We need Joe Musgrove for 2024. I don't want anything happening to this guy. And so him getting back on the mound and pitching in a game situation for an inning, opener, relief, okay, it could give you confidence going into the offseason. I think Joe has confidence, even if he doesn't pitch this one inning. He's got confidence. I think he believes in himself. I believe in the work that he does in the offseason. And I'm willing to take that risk of him maybe hurting himself in spring training or something, or being less confident going into spring training or in the regular season next year because he didn't get this one inning. I'm willing to risk that more than I'm willing to risk him coming out here for a meaningless baseball game, because at least spring training is going to be meaningful because you're getting ready for the season. At least the regular season's meaningful because you got to win those games to get to the postseason, as the Padres saw this season, right? But these games here are literally meaningless. They're the opposite of meaningful to this Padres team on the field. Season's over. Do the right thing and shut it down. And have a strong offseason and come back and be better in 2024. That would be my message to Joe Musgrove, to Manny Machado, to anyone that is dealing with a significant injury that is under control long term for this Padres team.